There's something very important about it's deception, but specifically it's sexual deception that my soul wants to say to all human beings. And I am saying this, Ed, because as a subject of ritual torture, who has been kept isolated and kept in what you would call Truman Show kind of situations most of my life, I have experienced, Ed, different levels, Ed, of deception and games that are used on human beings to make us believe we have had sex or sexual activity with those that we actually haven't. And this is critically important, because when you tell your subconscious that you have had sex with somebody, you are black magicking your own self. Two things happen. One, your body doesn't agree, and that sets you up for autoimmune conditions. One. And two, at the same time that your body is rebelling, your subconscious mind might actually be believing that you had sex with that guy. And what happens is you become open. That person or that woman or that man or whoever, they become an open channel to your brain for psychological suggestion. So you're getting this raw deal from two ends. And I have come across so many women who have autoimmune conditions and who have chronic conditions because they think they had sex with somebody. They were with a guy 15 years, 20 years, and they actually never had sex with him. I'm not kidding. I've seen this because I see energy fields. I know, I can tell from an energy field if someone has had sex with somebody or not. And I can tell you, this person will email me and say she's been married 15 years, 20 years, she's got a husband, she's got a child, but her energy field says she's never had sex. She's had a child through artificial insemination. She has not had sex. And I'll tell you why this thing is so important, Ed. Because our energy flow is affected, Ed, by what we tell ourselves about whether we've had sex with somebody or not. Because immediately if you lie, your body says it's a lie, and the body takes it very seriously. The body takes it very seriously. The body reacts to false sex as the body reacts to rape. And this is why a lot of women and men, Ed, they fall ill and their health is damaged. Their energy levels are damaged. They have chronic fatigue. They blow up with nervous inflammation, chronic full body inflammation, and they are just not the same, and they can't function the same because their body is saying, I did not have sex with that person. Why are you saying? Why are you behaving like I had sex with that person? And Ed, there are two levels, Ed, that I know of this sort of deception. The first one, Ed, is where you're blatantly lied to that you had sex. An example, Ed, is somebody gets drunk, finds herself or himself naked in a hotel room the next day or in somebody's house the next day, and they're told, we did it. Right? So you'll assume, why would that person say we did it when we didn't do it? Now, let me tell you, Ed, I have personally been in this situation where I was told that I have had sex. But the thing is, that person assumed I was drunk, which wasn't true because I do not drink. They just assumed it, and they made a very, very big mistake, because everybody in that place drank, but I didn't, and I don't, because I'm coming from my background, my childhood background, in which I had to be so careful. And I never, ever, 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 ever will be caught drinking with in a situation where I can be, where this kind of stuff can happen. But why I'm saying this, Ed, is it's not just this one case. A person can reach the point of being naked with somebody, and even this has happened to me, that guy even put a condom on. He never entered me, but he claimed to the next day. And in one time he claimed to the exactly in the moment, because he thought I was drunk. He thought I was believing him. He thought I was under hypnosis. And that is why I'm telling you, Ed, humans are targeted by those who are trained in this to suggest that you have had sex with them. They are trained, Ed. Trained. That's one level of the deception. The other level of the deception is there is penetration. There is a sexual act done, but it is not sex. It is mutual masturbation. And Ed, it is critically important for a human to know the difference between actual sex and masturbation or rape. If a human is deceived, if a human is drugged, then they have not given consent. The spirit and the soul have not given consent. Therefore, what has happened is rape. Sometimes it can be mutual masturbation. The spirit and the soul has not agreed. When your spirit and your soul has not agreed to have sex with somebody, your body will immediately react negatively. You might be mentally high. You might have the mental hormones of somebody who feels I have had sex, because that thought itself releases a lot of pleasure hormones. You might have that, but physically you are drained. And I would say, Ed, 95 to 99% of people I've come across who've consulted with me and all of that, they have not had sex with who they think they have had sex with. They have either been raped, that is, they have been deceived, drugged, tricked, or they have had mutual masturbation. And why I'm telling you this, that is because in both these cases, rape and mutual masturbation, the energy field does not experience it as sex. There is no imprinting without the permission of the soul. There is no, the man doesn't own the woman unless she accepts him. Her soul accepts him. And when a woman tells herself she's with that this I belong to this man now, I've had sex with him or whatever, her own body will react with autoimmune conditions, because the body refuses to accept or believe that. It's a war that is created within a person, both for men and for women, and it is the root cause of so many conditions that it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. I feel it's so ridiculous that I didn't even mention it till now. I should have mentioned this so long ago. You must stop telling yourself you had sex with someone if you were drugged, tricked, deceived about them in any way. You do not just go and have, the soul doesn't just have a one night stand with somebody. It can happen technically if you meet the one for you, but a soul doesn't have sex with someone because you were drunk. And then there are situations that where some people are in situations where they are where they are forced in a way they cannot resist, like something of theirs is being held hostage. So many situations are there where that happens, and it's so important for a human being to stand up and not give way to the psychic suggestion, because that is all it is. It is a psychic suggestion to say we have had sex when we have not. And remember, there are two levels to this. One is where you haven't even started and they just blatantly lie to you. And the other one is where there was sexual, physical activity that mimics sexual activity, but it's not sexual activity. And you have to have the guts and be authentic to your own self and tell yourself the truth, no matter how that, you might feel bad that you were with somebody so long and you didn't really have sex with them, or you might feel devastated because so much of your life is based on the idea that you had a relationship with someone. But believe me, Ed, a critical key to energy healing is to sift out the lies from the truth about your own life. And among those core things of your life you need to understand is you need to know, did you actually have sex with somebody or not? And I'll tell you, Ed, in the case of a human, if the soul gave permission, then that person was the one. And if the soul did not give permission, then you will not be with that person. And all your imagining that you had sex with that person is essentially a lie you're telling yourself, and you're keeping yourself in bondage. You're keeping yourself in psychological bondage, and it's a channel for black magic. And it is a noted method of black magicians. They are trained to do this, to suggest that they had sex. And I'll give you examples from my life. One guy, I was sleeping in the front room, and he kissed me when I was sleeping. And I woke up as he was kissing me. Later in the day, he tells me, we kissed in the morning. We did not kiss in the morning. Now, I'm clear about these things because I'm coming from my background where I was already expecting all this kind of shit. So I was very careful. I never got drunk. I came from a background, Ed, where already attempts were made on me when I was a child. So I was already alert. So that is why I know these things. And that is why I remembered and noticed. There was a guy, Ed, who he kind of pushed himself between my thighs and then claimed that he had sex with me. There's this level of deception. And then there are, Ed, it hasn't happened to me, but I was so close, Ed, so close. It could have happened to me. The guy put on a condom and all of that. And he almost entered me, almost. But he couldn't. And then later on, Ed, he claimed that he had. And I was being held hostage, Ed. I could have died, I could have been poisoned if I had said no. So I didn't say no. And what happened, Ed, is that this played havoc with my mind. Because even though I knew that I didn't have sex with this guy, and this would make, a whole lot of things easier for me to escape and all of that, at the same time I was held in bondage, Ed, because I hadn't said no clearly. You know what I mean? So this is a very important topic, Ed. And those, Ed, who are stuck in situations where their energy is not breaking free, autoimmune conditions and chronic conditions, chronic inflammation, weight imbalances, hormonal imbalances, all of this, Ed, I would say 95%, Ed, of all adults who have these conditions that are not responding, Ed, to stuff that they should be responding to. You should look at your sexual activity and look at the lies that you've told yourself, which have open channels. If you had sex with somebody and your soul had sex with them in truth, and there had been a sexual exchange, now that is sex. That is not a black magic channel, because you were in it. A black magic channel is when you were deceived. You have sexual activity with someone. Let's say they penetrate you. Everything, you do everything. Or as a guy, you go into a woman. All of that. If that is a channel for psychic attack, then you have not had sex. You have been duped. You have been tricked and you have been raped. And you need to face that. You might think that this going to devastate you and break your self-confidence to know that you were raped as a man, or that you were, you're an independent woman and you were still raped. But let me tell you, facing the truth will set you free and release your body from holding all the crap you're holding on to, which is all crap. You have a completely fictitious idea of a relationship, no matter how long it lasted, 20 years, 30 years, it was still fiction if you were deceived. If you were deceived, tricked, drugged, and you were having sex, that was not sex, that was rape. And if you weren't being deceived or whatever, but your soul wasn't into it, then that was mutual masturbation. So you need to start telling your own self the truth about your life. Your own self. Forget about others who might say, oh, but you were with them 20 years. Don't tell me you didn't have sex. Yes, it is possible. Let's change the narrative on what constitutes as sex, because this word is very important to us humans. What constitutes as a love relationships? What is a kiss? What is a touch? Everything based in deception is rape, and everything that is done with the consent and the sole presence of the human, only that is sex. Ed, this changed my life, Ed, and this was what made it possible for me to be alive here today. Because I was able to face the truth. It was horrible for my self-confidence to know that I had not actually had sex with anybody. It was very sad. It was even sad for me. But Ed, what happened is my brain got rewired. When I told myself the truth, I said, here's the deal, okay? You're a wonderful person, you're smart, you're beautiful, whatever, but you got deceived, okay? You have not experienced the real thing in physical life, that is. I have experienced the real thing in my spirit, and that has helped me a lot to know the difference between what is real and what is not real. What our soul and spirit experiences is real. And Ed, my brain has gotten rewired, and I have had the ability to rise up from severe debilitation, severe conditions, because energy becomes released when you face the truth and you tell yourself the truth, and the truth not according to thug world. Thug world says if a penis goes into a vagina, that's sex. That is not sex. That can be rape. That can be masturbation. You can put a dildo in. What about that? These corpse bodies walking around, they are nothing but dildos. Okay? So you need to face the truth according to your spirit. And Ed, however difficult this is to face and however disruptive it might be, it will prove life-saving, paradigm-shifting, Ed, and genuinely energy healing, Ed. Genuinely. Not love and light and on the surface get a good feel today, feel like shit 2 hours later. No. This is serious energy healing, and this is brain rewiring. This is energy field purification. This is detoxification, Ed. And Ed, this closes black magic channels. This closes channels of psychic attack. Because, Ed, the 99% of people I've come across are under psychic bondage from partners that claim to have had sex with them, and they believe that this person had sex with me. They didn't. The humans, Ed, they'll have sex with anyone, Ed, and imagine it's their soulmate and feel good about it, but their body will say no, it's not the one, and they'll be just falling ill, drained, all of that, Ed. It'll go on, Ed, 15 years, 20 years, and finally they break up and they get a little bit of health after that, Ed. But the psychic channel is still open because they're believing lies that they had sex. That's what I want to say, Ed. Everyone has to sit down and start telling themselves the truth. Tell your brain, tell your own subconscious the truth. And Ed, you watch how the body will flower. The body will jump up in the morning, Ed. The body will jump up in the morning, Ed, full of energy. When you tell your body the truth, the body will say, yes, now you're telling the truth. Now you're telling the truth.